Hey everyone, how are you today? Have you ever been to Stella's for ice cream or maybe even Reed Dairy that's on Linder and Chinden? Oh my gosh, so good. I sit there and look at all the flavors and everything sounds so good. I just can't make up my mind. Have you ever done that? And so then I just decide I'll try some different flavors. And so next thing I know, I'm sampling like 3 or 5 different flavors. And I start to get worried because I have to make up my mind and I just can't make up my mind. So usually what I end up doing is finding a way to maybe have half scoops so I can have two instead of just one flavor because they just all taste so good. There's so many times when that happens, when it's so hard to make up your mind. But there's a difference between that and changing your mind. And I don't know if we ever talk about that. We talk a lot about, oh, hurry up, make up your mind, just make a decision. But that's different than changing your mind about something. And in today's gospel, Jesus tells a story about two brothers and one who changes his mind. Now, some people, I think, mix these two things up, that making up your mind and changing your mind are kind of the same thing, or that somehow it's bad to change your mind because you're kind of wishy-washy. But I think that maybe if that's the case, you're focused on the wrong aspect of it all. Because changing our mind is a good thing. If we don't change our mind, we never learn or grow. We aren't open to hearing other perspectives. And changing our mind is important because sometimes we just make the wrong choice at first. Have you ever done that? Where you said yes to something and then changed your mind and said no to it later? Or maybe you thought going left was the right way. Oh, that sounded confusing. Going left was the correct way. But you realized you had to turn around and go back the other way because that first decision was maybe not the right way. I think there's something to the story that Jesus tells us today that gets us to think about changing our mind in a new way. That sometimes it's not always about our first decision or our first choice. It has more to do with what we do after and maybe even our willingness and ability to change our mind. So let's think about that today. What does it mean to change our mind about something? And how is that a little different than needing to make up our mind? How is it maybe you might need to change your mind about something today? Maybe you had an initial feeling or impulse or reaction to something or someone, and it stayed with you, and you thought a little bit about it, and you just don't feel quite so settled about that decision or that reaction. Maybe that little unsettled feeling is God's way of saying you can change your mind. Or maybe there's something you just don't understand and you don't know enough about it yet to make up your mind about it. So maybe that little unsettled feeling is for you to learn more and listen more and be willing to change your mind or make up your mind about something you've kind of sat on the fence about for a while. No matter what it is, I hope that something that will help guide you in that is remembering that we are all part of God's creation, that God is doing something in the world within each of us. With all the things going on, God is doing something, and the decisions we make can be about helping God's love in action in the world, or maybe could end up being a stumbling block or getting in the way of God's love in action in the world. So make your decisions, make up your mind in a way that expresses God's love for everyone. And even if you're not sure about something, if you're going to kind of make a mistake choosing something one way or another, wouldn't you rather maybe err on the side of too much love, if there's even such a thing? Wouldn't you rather err on the side of giving someone the benefit of the doubt, or at least giving them a chance to explain themselves? When we do that, we are living the kingdom together. So pray about that today. Think about that today. Where and in what ways do our minds need to be changed? How is God nudging you to love more?